for me to think about my dad as the most important black man in America because he was my dad.
And I'm super bad.
I love that two things that he brought to the table were like two taboo words, funk and black.
The new A&E documentary, James Brown, Say It Loud, takes a look at the complicated life, legacy, and impact of one of the greatest artists of all time, the godfather of soul.
Deborah Riley Draper is the film's director, and she joins us. Deborah, thanks for being with us.
Thank you so much. Good morning, Dan and Robin. How is it in Chicago?
Well, it's all right now. Thanks for joining us. You know, it changes on a dime, though. So, tell us how James Brown got started. His early years were not easy. How did he get into music?
Well, that is the most remarkable thing about James Brown. He was born dead. He only achieved a 7th grade education, and he literally willed himself into becoming the hardest working man in show business, the godfather of soul. He was this creator of funk. He was this incredible, energetic performer, and he always prided himself in being able to give the audience more than what they expected. But he was a writer, a producer, a singer, a performer. He was all of that and self-taught. So he was this kind of force of nature and this early one of one.
And so he didn't even really start singing until he joined this gospel group when he was in reform school. Is that where he realized he had a gift?
He, around 14 years old, he was arrested and he was put into this boys' reformatory prison in Georgia as a teenager. And Bobby Byrd of Bobby Byrd and the Flames came to perform at this reform school. And just like that, he heard these young men performing the gospel, and that was something he wanted to do. When he was released from that boys' reform school, he was released into the care of Bobby Byrd's family. And then Bobby Byrd, the Flames, became James Brown and the Flames, and ultimately James Brown that we know and love. But that's where it started in Toccoa, Georgia, in that gospel group that James Brown reconfigured into what would become the singer of Please, Please, Please in 1956, his first hit.
Right, that was what I was going to ask. So what was his breakthrough song? But it was that. Was that his? So that was how he really made a name for himself with that song.
He made a name for himself with that song. And then around 1964, there was this original concert film called The Tammy Show. And that was James Brown's coming out party. He was on the same stage with the Beach Boys and, of course, the Rolling Stones, Mick Jagger himself, who's the executive producer along with Questlove of this incredible docuseries. But that was the first time James Brown performed for this integrated audience, and he literally wiped the floor with everyone, nonstop performing and dancing, and he shut it down.
We showed that yesterday, and I think, I noticed that Mick Jagger is one of the producers of this special as well, along with Questlove. And was it Keith Richards who talked about having to follow James Brown at that Tammy special and said the Rolling Stones, it was the hardest thing they ever had to do?
Mick Jagger talks about it in the docuseries. They had the option of going before James Brown, but they chose to go after James Brown. And he was like, in 50 years of hindsight, maybe they should have never done that.
So in the intro there, we saw a clip of his daughter talking about her father. Who else from his inner circle is featured in this documentary?
Well, we have, of course, Mick Jagger, Questlove. We have Jimmy Jam and Terry Lewis. We have one of James Brown's greatest bass players, Bootsy Collins, LL Cool J, the Reverend Al Sharpton, who was like a son to James Brown, Chuck D from Public Enemy, super producer Dallas Austin. These are people who all have this fixed line to James Brown. They either were part of his life, like his daughters and his son, or Reverend Al Sharpton. They were influenced by his music, like Jimmy Jam and Terry Lewis and LL Cool J and Chuck D from Public Enemy. And we also have scholars and historians who help us understand what the landscape of America was like when James Brown, who was born during the Depression, buck danced for soldiers during World War II, had his first hit in the 50s and literally was the chart-topping artist through the 60s and the 70s. So we understand his cultural influence, and of course, what he was able to do with the song Say It Loud, I'm Black and I'm Proud, written after the assassination of Dr. Martin Luther King, and how that helped a grieving community and empowered a grieving community and actually helped people understand their Blackness.
And talk about, is there a new song, is that right, that's a part of this documentary?
Well, absolutely. Universal Music Group released a song today. It's a brand new song, and it's part of All Things James Brown for Black History Month. So we are excited about the new song. It was in the vault. And We Got to Change is the name of that song. And it's in keeping with this kind of political activism and use of music as social justice that James Brown pioneered with Say It Loud and so many of the other songs that he performed in the 60s and the 70s. So it is absolutely wonderful to have a 4-part docuseries that chronicles his entire life and be able to have a new song that drops in conjunction with this docuseries. It's quite amazing. I'm forever transformed to be a part of this docuseries because I looked at a man's life who had such determination, who had so many obstacles, so many odds, and he had this ability to use his genius coupled with resilience to go from being a shoeshine boy to a global musical icon. It's an extraordinary life.
It is, and you can watch James Brown Say It Loud February 19th and 20th on A&E, and you can get more at DeborahRileyDraper.com. Deborah, thank you for joining us.
Thanks so much.
Thank you. Have a great weekend.
You too.